Those who knew her say she was a first lady ahead of her time, a woman who would take her darkest moments and find a way to help others.
It has been the outgrowth of my own health that has made it possible for me to go ahead and, in my way, share what I learned with others.
Before 1974, it was almost unheard of for a First Lady to talk publicly about her personal problems. In the first year of her husband's presidency, Betty Ford was candid about her battle with breast cancer, her radical mastectomy, and chemotherapy. It opened the doors for other women to share their struggles.
I'm a cancer survivor, as she is too, and it's shocking. She was just a fabulous lady, fabulous. We're all going to miss her.
A year after Gerald Ford left office, Betty Ford disclosed publicly that she had for years abused alcohol and had become dependent on prescription drugs. She was the first major political figure to openly address a problem that plagued millions.
I would say I did begin to withdraw, not only withdraw from my family, but I canceled appointments, I withdrew from my friends. It was almost as if I kind of went into my bedroom and pulled the shades down.
Out of her own pain, she found a way to lift others struggling with addiction. Her greatest legacy, the Betty Ford Center for Substance Abuse in Rancho Mirage. Since its founding in 1982, 90,000 patients and their families have been treated here, some famous. Singer Stevie Nicks credits Betty Ford for saving her life.
I don't think she even really realized the impact that she had on so many lives. You know, she started her place and she got people there, but sometimes I think that great people, truly great people, don't really even realize how truly great they are.
In nearby Palm Desert, where the Fords spent their retirement years, residents remembered the First Lady as a strong lady.
Betty Ford was a great leader and a real inspiration to all women all over the world.
Stoic, not afraid to say what she thought, sure of herself, very vocal, very unintimidated. Fantastic woman.
A woman who improved the lives of generations and forever changed the role of a First Lady. Thelma Gutierrez, CNN, Rancho Mirage, California.
Just raise your arms and separate your legs. Corkscrew!
Are We There Yet has a new destination, #1 at the box office. The movie starring Ice Cube took in $18.5 million.
All day, baby, all day. Can't stop that. Can't stop that.
Hey, Coach, your shoes untied, sir.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Warren.
Coach Carter gets bounced from #1 to #2. The inspiring basketball film scored $11 million.
Oh, God.
Dad!
Whoa.
Jinx.
Oh.
Jinx, don't do it.
Jinx,
no. Don't do it.
No. Moses!
Meet the Fockers drops down to #3. The movie made a little over $10 million for the weekend, but it's getting closer to $250 million in overall ticket sales.
How old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
26. You're my new boss.
I guess so.
In good company, and racing stripes round out this weekend's top 5. Zachary, Irwin, CNN.
Some great years.
Yeah.
Senate lobbying disclosure records show more than 140 groups, including aircraft owners, farmers, unions, physicians, oil companies, and realtors, all lobbying to save tax breaks or prevent spending cuts. Stakeholders in the debate are spending millions. Here's what a few groups shelled out in just a 3-month period, from April to June, lobbying the government on various issues, including the debt ceiling. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, $9 million. The AARP, $4.6 million. ExxonMobil, $3.8 million. Pfizer, $3.5 million. American Bankers Association, $2.3 million. AFL-CIO, $880,000. The Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, $730,000. And the American Farm Bureau, $560,000. The Sunlight Foundation, a government watchdog group, says there's a lot riding on the deficit negotiations.
Basically, Washington spends a lot of money. It's the biggest customer in the world. So businesses, labor unions, all kinds of other interests, they want the spending to continue.
Mary Kay Thatcher is a lobbyist with the American Farm Bureau. Farmers are staring at a potential cut in government subsidies ranging from $11 billion to $30 billion.
Well, it's tough to keep up on, and certainly we're worried about how much gets cut. We're very much for getting a lot closer to a balanced budget, but we'd like to only give our share and not more than our fair share.
The National Association of Realtors spent $7.1 million lobbying in the second quarter of this year. That's nearly double what they spent over the same period last year. Realtors are worried the mortgage interest deduction for homeowners could be eliminated.
If the mortgage interest deduction went away or were severely curtailed, it would just add one more level of uncertainty to an already uncertain housing market, and we likely see home prices decline even further if homeowners and home buyers couldn't take advantage of the deduction going forward.
With potentially $3 trillion in federal deficit cuts on the line, special interest groups are angling to have their say on what is in and what is out.
People think, like, even when they say Mary, Mary, and you're not Mary, Mary, right? No. It's Tina and Erica.
That's who we are.
Yeah.
Tina, Mary, and Erica, Mary. Because Mary, we can't escape Mary.
Yeah, and it's from the Bible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so just so the audience knows. But people say, oh, it's not, they don't do gospel. It's secular.
Everybody has their own interpretation, and we've said for the past few years it's the gospel according to Mary, Mary.
Yeah.
In the type of church that we grew up, even though it was very traditional, we were very progressive. We were aware of what was on the radio, even though my mother didn't really let us listen to it.
No.
We wanted to be, I wanted to dance and have a good time, and the music had to be funky and it had to be banging. But for us, it had to reach the unchurched. And if you're using the most religious terms and the most religious music, and you're trying to share the love of God, how you can live better and love better and be better, why do you want to come with this boring, downtrodden, worrisome type of music? I can't do it.
And whatever formats it's played on, if it's played on Sunday morning, Friday night at the clubs, the intention and the motivation behind the music is still the same, to share God's love. And so I believe no matter where it's played, no matter where it fits, it's going to be effective wherever it goes. Sometimes that perspective that people have, it's just about preference. You don't prefer us. That does not mean that it's wrong.
You know what I want to talk to you? I know you have a lot of things going on. You have a new album when we're going to talk about it. But I want to talk about your initiative. It's called Something Big, especially what just happened in Alabama and the South with the tornadoes, and now with the flooding. Tell me about Something Big.
Something Big. The push behind this CD was live big, love big, give big, do something big. It wasn't just about make a great record and sell a million and have people think you're fantastic. We wanted to put the music into action. And
use the platform for something other than just the songs.
Exactly. So we've been encouraging our people to do just that. We had a 6 or 7 week campaign encouraging our fans, followers, friends to do something big for the elderly, for the homeless, for schools. If you've got something big that they're doing in their life, starting school again, pursuing something that they thought they couldn't, or overcoming in some way. And now we're going to take that initiative to helping the people who are dealing with that crisis in Alabama.
Obviously you want to sell records because you want your mess. It's part of who you are. It's part of what you do. You were put here on earth to do that. But there can also be a way to help people in what you do, and that's what Something Big is.
It always has to be more. It always has to be more. And this is 11 years for us, so we're still singing and still selling records, and getting to talk to fantastic people. But I feel like we should charge people to do something, and especially the way our world is today, we need help. We can't do it alone, and a lot of people are assuming that it's all going to happen from the White House, but it happens on our streets, in our neighborhood. And if we change our street, just the block, maybe you change the city, and if you change the city, maybe you change the county, and it grows and grows. And so that's what we're just trying to get people to think beyond just buying the record. Now you do something.
Are they responding to Something Big?
They are blowing us away.
Yeah.
These people are going out taking You don't need everything to do something.
Yeah.
You just need a willingness to do it, and we are seeing that with our fans.
There's a girl here in Atlanta that her and a friend took 2 suitcases and got on a city bus and went to pass out food and clothes to homeless people. And then it started raining, so they got those little hats that you put on, and they kept going. And they videoed themselves and sent it to our site. There was a mother, I don't remember where she lives, but she had 2 small children, and the father's not in the home. And this was when we were talking about do something for seniors. They went to a senior citizen's home to pass out chocolate kisses and hugs and kisses. And I thought that was so wonderful. It's small, but it's impactful, and so they really are doing something.
It's been odd. I shouldn't say it's been odd. I found it a little bit interesting, to say the least, that what happened in Alabama and then in Georgia and so on really touched people. I ran into Charles Barkley in the grocery store, and he said, I'm trying to figure out what I can do, Don. And he said, but I want to do something. And I said, well, just do something small. And it only takes just helping one person. Right. Yeah. And do you think that's, I mean, am I right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
You're definitely right. It starts with one person, and that's all you can do, because sometimes if you bite off more than you can chew, then you can't handle it. Start where you can start, even if it is something small.
We were literally looking at blocks, like a city block with 2 homes standing and just rubble. And it's tens of thousands of buildings, homes and businesses that are just no more. They need some immediate assistance. They can't wait for, like she said, insurance and all those things. It's like we don't even have water because the piping system is all ruined. Like, what do? We need somebody's help.
Why has it had such a connection with the American public?
I can speak about me, how it affected me. If that was my family, if that was my home, if I had to go and take all of my babies and go to a shelter and try to pick out clothes because we don't even have that and water, because I would want someone to care.
Yeah.
I would want someone to see this and just like feel my pain and want to do something about it. So if I would expect that, then I've got to give that. So we went down there and saw that, and we were like, we are absolutely going to do something about it.
Women of Faith. Are you touring with Women of Faith?
Yes, we are. We're touring with Women of Faith. I love it.
It's so different for us, the platform, the stage, the women who come. It's very different. But in the past, it's been 2 years now, or a year and a half. Well, we did it last year. A year.
It's just been a year.
And it's been really, really amazing. And it really shows you that we're all the same in this world. We all have the same wants. We want to be loved. We want to feel validated. We want to know that we are important.
What's your favorite song that you've done together? Can you sing it?
I think it's still Sitting With Me.
Sitting with me.
Yeah, I've been left out, looked over, just for carrying the cross on my shoulder. But it's okay with me if I'm the last one that's picked for the team. I'll sit on the sideline as long as he's sitting with me.
Thank you.
Until you stopped, you were taking a lot of cocaine.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not taking it, I had to pay for it.
I climbed a mountain, I've raced cars, cut my finger off, and I've loved a lot.
My signature dance is the Kendra dance. It's the booty shake. Go Kendra, go Kendra, go Kendra.
It's all about wiggling my ass when I'm dancing. But as I'm looking in the mirror, as I'm wiggling my ass, you know, with my partner, I'm like, oh man, A, let's get this ass smaller, and B, let's wiggle it better, faster.
We didn't have money, so we played poker for ramen noodles. Those came in the care packages from home.
Rhyming noodles.
And yeah, ramen noodles. You make the little egg noodles and they wrap.
I love Twitter and iPads and iPods and tweeting and texting and sexting.
Me and 4 other girls transformed our bodies into lean, mean fighting machines. And towards the end of it, I was like deadlifting 180. It takes a lot to be able to get it up, yeah.
That's heavier than me.
Should I do the Close Encounters theme song? They're coming. They're here. Hi. They love the 80s.
When you started off as a child actor, you probably didn't think like, oh, this is going to be a job that it's going to get me all kinds of female attention.
That's exactly what I thought. That's all I think about all day long.
That's your plan?
You think I'm joking?
No. This was just a back. This is just a
all just
a
to get
ruse.
chicks. Yeah.
Just to get chicks.
Yeah.
Does it ever get old? I mean, do you get to enjoy it?
Chicks get old.
No.
Sorry, what?
I'm 9 foot tall, green, scaly, naked, with a huge tail.
Sold. I can't ask.
Lock up your daughters.
Not doing great on the relationship side, so maybe I should just cut straight to adopting. But no, I'd love to. I'd love to have kids. Absolutely, I'd love to have kids. And I actually do think I'd be a good father. I think I'd be a better father than anything.
That's so sweet.
Better father than a husband.
I was surprised though that when Yvonne told me that you were just a terrible kisser.
Yeah. Should stop eating before I do that then, eh? I'm sure she didn't say that.
Oh, really? Pretty confident.
I had a stunt double who came in and did all the snogging, yeah.
That's the only time you'll use a double, right?
Were you a lonely child, Jeff, or something?
Yeah, I was.
Did you have no friends? Is that what this is about?
It is kind of. Oh, that's really sad.
She hit it on the head, didn't she? Probably, yeah. He was sad and lonely.
Did you have any brothers or sisters to
No
play
brothers,
with?
no sisters.
Any friends?
And I was
Nothing?
adopted. It was the whole thing.
Were you really adopted?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
what this is about, isn't it?
If you remember, when you and I first started working together on Britain's Got Talent, God only knows how that happened.
You hired me.
I know, but God only knows how that happened.
We'll see what Sarah decides to do. You know, she's only 5% apparently behind Obama, and you know, so it's got me nervous a little bit. You know, it's hard enough for me now. So if she becomes president, you know, I'm gonna have to move to Canada or something.
I think I was going to say Canadians are very polite, but they're not that polite to other Canadians. We're very polite to Americans. We don't tend to shoot each other as much as you guys.
$11,000 bonus for good performance in 2010. That's what each worker at this mine in northern Chile says they need to end their strike. But this is not a small mine. La Escondida is the largest copper mine in the world. It extracts 7% of the world's copper. The mine's owners, BHP Billington, had a profit last year of $4.3 billion. Most of the 2,300 striking employees believe they deserve a bigger chunk of that.
We will not continue to accept the current contracts or collective agreements. They were made and signed by themselves. There are court actions against them, but so far we have no answers.
Strikers have been on a strike for more than a week. This is not a new issue. Workers at La Escondida received $9 million in 2010 on collective bargaining. Some Chilean analysts believe that the company will cede again.
The
very moment they offered 3 million pesos to each worker, they recognized they owe money to them.
The workers rejected the offer. Industry players fear that if BHP agrees to all workers' demands, it will set a bad precedent for negotiations at other mines. Chilean workers have benefited from the commodities boom. Experts say the average salary for a mine worker here is 3 times of the national average. But who decides if the workers' demands are fair or not? If a deal is not reached, the Justice and Labor Department will be forced to weigh in. Up to today, the Chilean government has avoided taking a side.
We hope an agreement is quickly reached in this mine. We don't need to dwell on things that are really bad for the country's development.
Meanwhile, copper prices keep rising. In July, the metal gained 4.6%, the most this year.
This is a slum in Mumbai, India. For many of the millions who reside in these shanty towns across the country, they live without basic necessities such as running water and electricity. But for many children living here, nothing is stopping them from going online. Cheaper, internet-ready phones are flooding the market in India, not just in the slums, but everywhere. In fact, mobile phone use in India is rising just as fast as its exploding economy. And that's making Facebook the must-have among the country's young population.
They can play games apart from making friends and socializing or getting in touch with their old friends who they lost touch with. So all of these aspects which have helped internet users in India staying loyal to Facebook. I mean, the usage has increased recently a lot. I think by July 2011, there were around 33 million internet users who were using Facebook.
Only the United States and Indonesia have more Facebook users. The majority of Indians access the internet through a mobile phone. And it's not just smartphones, but the introduction of so-called feature phones, a cheaper hybrid of a basic phone and a smartphone that has given this trend a whole new dimension.
A lot of people actually have 3 or 4 phones, and that is not uncommon in India, especially in places like Delhi, where the penetration is around 130%, 140%.
Advertisers are quickly tapping into the Facebook phenomenon and the 352 million children in India under age 15 who are coming online. According to IMRB, a global ad agency, advertising on social networks grew around 65% from the year before. And other recent market research suggests that Facebook users in India actually like the ads. Relitsa Vasilova, CNN, Atlanta.
Angry Republicans didn't mince words, questioning whether there was an attempt to protect Energy Secretary Stephen Chu as it became apparent the government would likely lose $535 million in the Solyndra deal. In a key February 2011 memo, the Department of Energy's chief counsel offered what she believed was a legal justification for restructuring the Solyndra loan. But there are two versions of the memo, one obtained by subpoena, which is a draft entitled Memorandum for the Secretary. The other, a final version from DOE where reference to Secretary Chu was removed. Republicans played this up in a House subcommittee hearing.
Why was a subsequent one? They felt it was necessary to erase his name out there and to try and hide the original January memo. I think those are important questions to ask because it